Hey family, a lot of us have heard a story about Joseph and how Joseph was a dreamer and how his brothers, they hated him so much so that they not only threw him in a pit, but they sold him into slavery and he was hauled off to Egypt. And we learned about Joseph and his trials and tribulations as he was sold into slavery in Egypt and became part of Potiphar's house, and Potiphar's wife accused him of rape, and he got thrown in prison. How God gave him the gift so he could interpret dreams of the butcher and the cupbearer, and eventually he got to the Pharaoh himself and interpreted his dreams, and how God was with Joseph the whole time, even through all of his trials and tribulations. The Bible kept saying through all his afflictions that God was with Joseph. And then Joseph ends up being the second in power of all Egypt, and nobody had more power except for the Pharaoh himself. And then one day, there's a famine in the land, and his brothers come to Egypt not knowing that his brother is number 2 in power, not knowing what to expect. They're coming with their money to try to get food so that they will not die, so that their father Israel and the 12 tribes will not die. And they come to him, and Joseph recognizes them. He puts them through this whole deal, but finally, he just can't take enough the compassion of his brothers, no matter what they did to him, the love that he had. He comes up to him in chapter 45. And then Joseph, it says in verse 1, Joseph could not control himself before all those who stood by him. He cried, and he made everyone go out from him. So no one stayed with him when Joseph made himself known to his brothers. Now, I don't know about you, but I wonder how his brothers felt. They were like, "What? That's Joseph." I mean, all the flashbacks of how they sold him in slavery, how, they thought, he could have been dead or whatever happened to him after he got to Egypt. They don't know. And all the guilt, and it said that Joseph wept out loud. So the Egyptians heard it, and the household of Pharaoh heard it. And Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers could not answer them, for they were dismayed at his presence. They're probably like... And verse 4 says, So Joseph said to his brothers, "Come near me, please." And they came near him, and he said to them, "I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here." Listen to this part. "For God sent me before you to preserve life." You see, God had a plan. The whole time Joseph was going through his mess, it was all part of God's plan. You notice how when you read the story, and I encourage you to read the story from chapter 37 to chapter 50, it kept saying the Lord was with Joseph. No matter all the afflictions, all the trials, all the tribulations, God was with him. Because if he didn't have the dream, if he didn't get sold into slavery, then he never went to Potiphar's house. If Potiphar's wife never accused him of rape, then he never went to prison. If he never went to prison, then he never would have been able to tell the dream of the cupbearer and the baker. If he never told the dream of the cupbearer and the baker, he never went before Pharaoh. If he never went before Pharaoh, he never would have been able to interpret the Pharaoh's dream. If he never interpreted Pharaoh's dream, he never would put second in power. If he never put second in power, he could never save his brothers and the 12 tribes of Israel from dying of starving to death. And if he never would have stopped in that, the line of Jesus would have been halted. You see, he didn't just save life or preserve life in the physical sense for his brothers. He preserved life in the eternal sense, because out of his brothers, Judah was going to come to see the Savior who was going to save and preserve life eternally for all who believe. So know that if you're going through something and you might feel trials and tribulations and hardships, know that the Lord is with you, because he's got a plan and he's just working it all out. And it takes time, so be patient. All right, family, you guys have a blessed day.